What's up everybody, Bandit Chad here for another Taco Tuesday, and today we're going to be talking about how today might be the best time to buy a new Tacoma. Now, since the third gen Tacomas have come out in early 2016, they've been really popular, and they've been really desirable, and a lot of people have been paying really close to MSRP. We've heard of a couple people that did get pretty good deals, but a lot of times you do have to pay up to get a Tacoma, where a lot of other vehicles you can get well under MSRP because they're not nearly as desirable. And really talking about the half tons there, half ton trucks can be bought for well under MSRP, but it seems like the midsize and the Tacomas in particular are really in demand right now. So I've actually had two family members recently buy brand new Tacomas, actually in the past probably week and a half, and it was my cousin and my brother. My brother bought a double cab long bed TRD Sport with the tech package, and my cousin bought a TRD Sport double cab short bed with the manual transmission, and both of them got their trucks several $1,000s under MSRP, and they got really good deals with only a little bit of shopping around. So now might be your time.
Right, so now, like he said, is the time to be looking into a Tacoma, especially if you might not want one with the technology or all the tech that's included in these 2018s. You can get these really good deals with Toyotathon going on at the time, right before the new year. They're doing several good deals. They're just trying to push these 2017s off the lot so they can make room for the 2018s. If you want to go in, like you said, do some shopping, and look around for the truck that you have been looking for and been waiting for a while. They do still have very many different options out there, and if you're looking for a TRD Pro, I would go look for one of them now, because they might be on their way out for this model year.
Right, and also another thing, if you are interested in having a truck, and a lot of people cannot just drop 35 grand right now. I believe with Toyotathon they are doing 0% financing, so that is a really compelling thing, that basically you can finance your truck through Toyota for, I think it's 72 months, 60 or 72 months, for 0%, so essentially for free, and basically just pay the price of the truck and not pay for the actual financing. So a really sweet deal there. And I think both my cousin and my brother that were shopping around here were not necessarily interested in having one particular color, and they weren't necessarily sold on one particular trim or anything like that, but especially if you're in that kind of situation where you're just kind of looking for something new, you want a truck that's four-wheel drive and has a lot of nice features. Really all the TRD trucks have that, so whether you get the technology package or you don't, you're really going to end up with a pretty nice truck. Now with the double cab long bed TRD Sport with the tech package that we were just talking about, that will have all the features, even the automatic rear window and sunroof and JBL sound system and absolutely everything that you can get. So that's a fully loaded truck, and even that was several $1,000s under MSRP. So really, no matter what truck you get, you're definitely probably going to get a pretty good deal right now.
So kind of touching off of what we did talk about last week with the 2017s, in terms of the modification versus modification to a 2018 Tacoma, this is the time that you're going to want to get a truck if you want to not run into some of these issues. If you didn't watch last week's Taco Tuesday, we did touch on kind of more in-depth basically how 2018 Tacomas, it's going to be harder to go through a lift and have all of the safety features in your truck continue to work. So if you do want to avoid the hassle of dealing with all of that, I would definitely suggest looking into some of these 2017s, saving some money over the 2018, because it's largely unchanged other than some new colors, different grills, and the TSSP stuff, obviously.
Right, so definitely, if you are considering one of these new trucks, at least go to your local dealer and shop around a little bit. You might even get a little bit better deal than what you were thinking. And also, I believe for 2018, they're changing some stuff, and you won't be able to get a manual in the SR5, correct?
I believe so. I think that is correct. Yeah, the 5-speed manual that you could have gotten with the four-cylinder.
Yeah, they're taking all of that away, and you're just going to have the 6-speed automatic paired with that 4-cylinder now, which the 4-cylinder is pretty sluggish as is, and it does liven it up a little bit to have that manual transmission behind it, so it's going to feel even more sluggish with a automatic. So if you are interested in one of those, especially, go to your local dealer and shop around a little bit. But we'll move on here into some news for this week, and we'll start here with FCA, Fiat Chrysler, and their new Jeep JL. Now, hopefully we'll be done talking about this here before too long, and also giving a shout out to TFL, the guys over at the Fast Lane Car and Truck. They had a really good video on, actually several good videos on the new Jeep JL, so if you haven't seen those, do check them out if you're interested. They have videos on seeing those trucks in action, or seeing the Jeeps rather in action, and seeing the top and windshield being put up and put down on those new vehicles, and it looks like a way better process than what they had there with the JK Jeeps. But this new JL does start at $26,195, and obviously that is with the 2-door soft top, not a whole lot of options or anything, but $26,000 is a reasonably good deal, and is still fairly inexpensive for a very capable vehicle. Also with FCA, they caught the Ram 1500 test mule out driving around a little bit, and you can see several different features from that. It does have a really nice updated interior that we could see a little bit, and also has some new styling with the grille and with the headlights and everything else. It does make the truck look a little bit more athletic. It seems like Ford and GM are going with more square trucks now, but Ram is kind of going more the route with say the Tundra and the Tacoma, where they are looking more athletic and less boxy. So hopefully that will appeal to some people. Also, the Land Rover Defender mule was caught testing, and it did just have a Range Rover Sport body that was kind of hacked up and thrown on it. It clearly was not a Range Rover Sport that was testing. And we can kind of say that this is the Defender because it had a really short wheelbase, but unfortunately under the vehicle you could clearly see it was a unibody construction rather, and it did seem to have independent suspension all the way around. So clearly there are going to be some big changes made here with the new Defender, and whether that's for the better or worse remains to be seen, but it's definitely going to be a good bit different than the very utilitarian Defender that we've had in the past.
Right, so moving on to some Toyota news, I don't know how many of you had seen, but Toyota did tease a front-end photo of the newly redesigned Toyota Avalon. In a report I had read, they were calling it Toyota's flagship sedan. I would almost argue that the Camry is their flagship sedan just because that is what they usually do sell more of, even though the Avalon is top of the line. But basically it looks like a complete redesign. Just from that small little snippet that they showed in the front, it looks like new grille, new headlights, everything. Also in that same report that I did read, was kind of alluded to that this is kind of going to be a new direction for Toyota's top of the line, most expensive sedan that they haven't seen since the beginning. Now, we were talking about the Avalon not too long ago, and we were kind of wondering, how many of these we do see on the road, and it's really not too many. But for, I guess it's the 2019 model. Yes, 2019 is when this is supposed to come out, but we will be getting more information on it on January 15th at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit.
Correct. And like Chad was saying, we're not really sure how many people really buy these. It seems like they've really diversified the Camry now, and you can get a V6 with up to 300 and some horsepower. You can get 4-cylinder if you're interested in that, and the wheelbases really aren't that different. And really the long wheelbase sedan does seem to be dying, with more and more people buying these SUVs and crossovers and everything else. But hopefully it is a good seller there for Toyota. Now, moving here to some Tesla news. The Tesla semi-truck was spotted out driving around and testing and everything else, and you could get several different angles of viewing for all of that. So if you are interested, those images are flying all around the internet now. And also, several companies are putting in really large orders for these. Walmart is one of them, and here it says that Anheuser-Busch actually ordered 40 of them, which is the biggest order that I've seen so far, is 40 of those trucks, especially since they're not even being produced yet. All these are just pre-orders, and we're only seeing pre-production models driving around, so who knows how long they'll have to wait for those, but it sounds like several companies are really interested in these. Our last story this week comes from GM, and it sounds like we might be seeing carbon fiber truck beds here before too long. They're saying that it's going to be carbon reinforced thermoplastic. They're used in the bed of the Silverado and Sierra, and they're saying with more and more strict fuel economy regulations and everything else that they're going to have to do something to drop weight. Now, it doesn't say whether this carbon fiber is going to be used on the sides of the bed or for the actual bed itself, but we thought it was really interesting. It seems like GM is really knocking forward for even switching off of steel and using aluminum, but now GM wants to ditch using metal at all and go to using plastic. So all of that remains to be seen. We can say that we both had second gen and third gen Tacomas now, and if they are talking about the actual bed, the plastic bed is really nice. Now, it does get really slick when it gets wet, but a simple bed mat can fix all of that. But it is really nice. These can't rust out. They don't dent really. I've never really seen one crack, but I'm sure it could happen. But it seems like more and more people are really just using trucks to get around, and you may throw some stuff in the bed, whereas in the past trucks were really workhorses. Now you can still use all of this, and we do still have good payload and towing and everything else, but it does have to lighten it up a little bit to use that plastic or polymer or whatever you want to call it there in the bed. So all of that really remains to be seen, but it is a really interesting idea, and I don't see why you couldn't use the polymer beds there for a half-ton as well. Maybe not a 1-ton truck, but at least for a half-ton, I think most people will be more than fine with a plastic, polymer, carbon, whatever you want to call it, truck bed, something other than metal, and especially if you get better fuel economy out of that.
Right.
But as you may be able to see out of the back there, we did get a little bit of snow over the weekend. I did not actually get my truck out at all. I think you did a little bit there in the snow, right?
A little bit. Never really had a chance to put it in four-wheel drive. I was more just driving to Floyd. This is a portion down here in Southern Virginia, kind of close by to Blacksburg. Just did some stuff over the weekend. But we're hoping to see some more snow and actually get some video of us doing some stuff in the snow, hopefully this month into January, when we are going on our winter break, because we are almost done this semester down here at school. So the next video you will see, well, I guess we'll still be down here, but
we're getting close to going home.
We're getting close to going home. That's what I'm getting at. I'm happy that we're going to be going home for about a month. So.
But we did just get a light dusting down here, just enough to really make people in two-wheel drive trucks freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
But we did just get a light dusting. They are calling for more here within the next couple weeks. So hopefully we'll get some winter wheeling in before too long. But that pretty much wraps up everything we have to talk about for this week. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.